Hello, and welcome home to my little alternative craft corner that I like to call Cross Stitch in Cambria. It's for my love of my favorite band, Coheed and Cambria, and my love for cross stitching. My name is Joshua. I was told a couple times that I was so nervous on my first video that I just completely forgot to mention my name. So hello everybody, I'm Joshua. For those that are new, I've been cross stitching for 30 plus years. My mom taught me when I was little. I kind of went over this and all in the first video, just a quick little recap. I created an Instagram account, same name, Cross Stitch in Cambria, about a year and a half ago, just showing my progress on stuff, mostly about my dragon, which we'll show that off today. And it was just all downhill, not downhill, I guess, all uphill from there because I just got a massive following. People asked me to do this Flosstube, so I got a big positive response from my first one, so here I am with my second one. Today is May 30th. This is my second Flosstube. I got some questions that I got asked from the previous video, so we're going to go over that. Made some upgrades. I got a light, so it's not as dark anymore. In my last video, I kept coughing and coughing near the end. I didn't bring anything to drink last time, so this time I got my tea. You'll see me sip it here and there to help me out of that throat coat. Help me talk a little bit more. And I got water. That just completely slipped my mind last time. So I'm over here talking. I kept coughing. Alright, so kind of like my first Flosstube, I'm going to show off a lot of finishes here. People kept asking to see some WIPS. And I actually only have two, now 3 WIPS, and the third one will explain a little bit later why I even have 3, but mostly I just have 2. I like to do really big projects. So let's get into this. I'll do a couple of finishes, and then I will jump to some questions that people had, and we'll jump into some stories, because, you know, that's what I do. I'm here to show my projects, and I'm here to tell stories. And a lot of people want to hear some stories from my animal control days. I'll tell the more lighthearted, funny stories. I've got some bad stories that they're just not shareable on the internet. If you ever meet me in person, ask, and I'll tell them there, but they're not something I really want to put onto Flosstube, because I would need a disclaimer and all this stuff, and blah, blah, blah. But, so, let's get started. Pick up where we left off last time. This, and this time too, I have notes, so I can kind of stay on track. Finished project number 1 was just this little monstera. I absolutely love plants. I have a small jungle in my kitchen. I actually just took them all outside yesterday because they were getting sad and mopey. And here in the Midwest, we are finally above 50 degrees in the nighttime, because this is actually pretty late. Usually by now I've got them outside. So, I mean, I got some major monsteras. I got some leaves that are huge. This was just a little project from local craft store. I don't want to say their name because it was before I knew about them. It's not Michael's. I hanged it up. I liked it. It was before I knew. I didn't have an Instagram when I made that one, so I kind of learned a little bit more. It was just a little kit, came with the thread, came with the hoop, came with the Ada. It's just a 14 count, which I've strayed from 14 count. I mean, unless I absolutely have to. 16 is my preferred, what I like to do. And on to the next one. This one, weird thing about this. I specifically remember when I cross-stitched this. I took it with me. My wife wanted to stay at a sailboat, Airbnb, that was in Racine, Wisconsin. I think it's Racine, Wisconsin. This dude just bought a sailboat and made the inside contemporary. So, I mean, it was really nice looking, which I think I figured out how to post photos. So it'll go here, maybe applaud because I did it, or, I'm an idiot because I couldn't figure it out. But I tested how to put images up here. So hopefully I figured it out and you guys can see some pictures to go with my stories. We stayed at this sailboat, Airbnb, and with the sailboat stay, you got to be in the pool, and there was a restaurant connected to the whole thing. So, I mean, everything was right there that you needed. I stitched this while sitting at the pool. So this reminds me of that stay. And sadly, the boat was called the Clementine. It was a pretty good sized sailboat. We stayed in there twice. But today on Facebook, he listed it up for sale because he's just not going to do it anymore. And that actually kind of really upset me because we really liked staying in there and staying in that sailboat. I'll show it real quick, and then I got more stories on the sailboat. So I'm sure you guys have seen this one before. This is the Kraken, and the little sailboat is what reminded me of the whole thing. This is from La Croix, 14, and this was kind of before I knew to, thicken up the thread. So this is just over 2, I believe. That's all I really ever did. But maybe that's 16. I don't know. But because my wife was super excited to stay on that sailboat, and I was kind of like, okay. After we stayed on the sailboat, I became extremely hyperfixated, which I do, and some things completely stick, like cross stitch. I wanted to learn how to sail. I just blindly bought a sailboat. It was a 13-foot Catalina Capri yacht. So I was technically a yacht owner, and I always let everybody know that I had a yacht. I said, hey, you want to come over and see my 13-foot yacht? I can only fit me on it. Drove up into Chicago, and really nice guy sold it to me, explained a lot to me because I told him I've never sailed in my life. I don't know a thing about sailing, but I bought a quite expensive sailboat. I got it. We have a state park pretty close to us. I took it out there. Terrifying as hell. My wife's got videos of me. Just getting it into the water is a complete hassle. It's what's called a sleeved sail. So instead of, me going out into the water and, raising the sail is inside of it's got a sleeve, so it goes inside of the mast. So it is up no matter what you do. Or not what you do. It's always up and ready to go. And looking back on the videos of my wife recording me for the first time ever going out, I made the stupid move of holding on to the mast. I was holding on to the boom because I didn't want it to pivot back and forth. And because I was doing that, the wind was catching it and it was moving the boat. Now, I know better that just don't touch it. The boat will kind of move with the wind. So once I was super stressed. I was super terrified of this thing. And the sweetheart that my wife is, I believe it was for Father's Day later that year or the year after, got me a sailboat training class out in Lake Geneva. That was the funnest thing in the world. I'll finish the story up because we got a lot to go through. It was a 28, 30-foot sailboat. And an older man, he went out there with me. And once we got it into the water, he let me take over. So I'm holding on to the rope and I'm messing with the rudder to make sure I got the wind just right. And I asked him a question. I said, hey, what are there were grips on the outside of the sailboat. And he goes, you want me to show you what those are for? For sailing, you can once you get the wind just right and you got the tightness on your rope, you can get a sailboat. I was basically looking down into the water. So the sail was, this far tipped over. And I even asked him, I said, hey, can you tip these things over? And he goes, oh, you want to find out? He was joking, of course. When you get to the bigger sailboats, like the house sailboats and stuff like that, the fin underneath, they start weighing like half a ton or a ton. So it makes sure it stays down. I mean, you can give it all the hell to try to get the tip over, but it won't tip over. But That's my sailboat story. So moving on, we got this pattern. I just found online. There was no maker for it. It was just basically an image, and I printed it. I'm a big fan of Halo. I've been playing it since Halo 2. So I got a little grunt here. This was a pretty fun little project. A lot of changing colors. Just basic white. I'm kind of going in order of when I did these, because that was the best way to go through this. I have another story about Halo, but we'll get to that story when I get to the next Halo piece. So that's that one. And then right at that, I discovered Etsy. Now, mind you, I've been cross-stitching, like I said, for 30 plus years. Back then, your patterns were bought in kits, which somebody mentioned to me that Native American one that I couldn't find the picture of is I think they're called Dimension kits. They were really big back in the 90s. And that's how we got our patterns back then. You had to go to a craft store and you had to go and buy them. There was no downloading the stuff online, which that's still relatively new to me. So it's been 3 years since I discovered online patterns. These are pretty basic. Like they're hung up in my kitchen. It's just a very primitive cross stitch for me. It was something to keep me preoccupied. So just a little skeleton and some flowers. So I did this one. And then I did, excuse me, that tea ain't helping me. And I did this one. Now this one, rookie move. You can kind of see, no shit, that I got 2 pieces of fabric right there. I wanted to put it in a frame like this that was square, and there was like a gap right there, so it is what it is. This is what I did to make it work. Where are these from? I don't remember. Oh, wait, hold on. I got it in my notes. Those patterns are from Oh My Stitch Shop, both of them. And so after that one, I discovered Instagram. And then I found, who made this? Stand by. Crafting Geek. This one was fun. So, just one thread here, or one color thread here, and this is all variegated floss. So this was actually kind of relaxing for me to be able to one color and just keep going and going and going and going and going. That was a lot of fun. So the story for this is, like I said, I'm a big Halo fan. And a couple years ago, what was it, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, they did a thing called Halo Outpost Discovery, which was like a little tiny Halo convention. It was the first time they've ever done it. And it was out in Chicago for me. I got a friend from Pensacola, Florida. We've been playing Halo for years. And I asked him if he wanted to come to this thing with me, so he said yes. One of the biggest highlights of that convention, I got to meet Steve Downs and Jen Taylor, which if you don't know who they are, Steve Downs is the voice actor for Master Chief, and Jen Taylor is the voice actor for Cortana. I woke up at 5 a.m., 5 or 6 a.m., got to the convention center, and I waited in line. So there was no like prepay pass, which like you do at Comic-Con and stuff like that. There was no like, hey, this is where they're going to be. You can pay for this. This is where you go get in line. You will get to meet them. It was just kind of word of mouth of, hey, Jen and Steve are going to meet and greet people, and you can get something signed. So I just found other people there and was like, hey, are you guys here for Jen and Steve? And they were like, yeah. So I got in line. I waited in line for 7 to 8 hours just to meet these two. And it was the most incredible experience. I hope I can put a picture up here of it. I walked up, and Steve Downs goes, well, hello, sir, what's your name? And I go, Joshua. And he goes, hi, Joshua, thank you for coming out. And he didn't even need to... I followed him after this and stuff. He doesn't really, like, trick his voice. He doesn't become the character. His voice really is the character. He might drop it down just a little bit deeper. But to meet him in person and hear Master Chief in person say my name was the absolute coolest thing in the world. And then Jen Taylor, I got a... hold on, did I write it on here? I did! There's an artist called Carlations, C-A-R-L-A-T-I-O-N-S. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. I went to a C2E2 years prior to that, and she does like this really, really cool watercolor art. And I ended up buying a big poster of hers of the Chicago train system. It was like tattooed on this girl's back, and she had Chicago print underwear on. It was pretty cool. I contacted her, or she was asking for people if they had any ideas of another thing for her to do. And I messaged her through Instagram. I just dropped it in the comment, and I said, hey, could you do Cortana in your style of artwork? And she totally did. I about lost my mind. So I got a print of that, and I took it with me, and I had Jen Taylor sign it, which, hold on, I'm gonna pause. And we're back. This is just gonna be so much easier than to throw pictures. Right here. This is the watercolor. It's a print. But I got the signature of her, the artist, and can't see. That is Jen Taylor's signature. So I'm very proud of this. This was part of the 8-hour stay. For Steve, I had him sign a little Funko Pop that was exclusive to the con. And another really cool quick story. I guess we got more to do. This was like when VR was just starting to become a thing. So they had little VR headsets that you could play in the game. So when we put these headsets on, we can hear everybody talking, but it was the trippiest thing. I would look to my left, and there was sound that went with everything, so you could hear people around you. Because before I put the headset on, there were people to my right, and there were people to my left. So I can hear the person talking to my left, and when I'm looking like this, there was nobody there in the VR, but I know there's somebody standing there. It was just the weirdest thing. And now that's all VR is. But to be able to go into the Halo universe through a VR system when VR wasn't even a thing yet, mind-blowing. Okay, a little quick sip here. So I hope you guys are enjoying these stories. I've got so many stories, which I kind of thought about it. I think I enjoy telling stories because of animal control. I had to be extremely descriptive with my stuff because we had to type up all these reports for what happened. So kind of helps with my storytelling. So got that. I think I just got one more finish to show you, and then I can get to some whips here. This one. This is my dragon. This is my galaxy dragon. This was a pattern that I found on Etsy. Looking back on it now, I figure it's just an AI that was just made into a cross-stitch pattern. But I'm still extremely proud of it because of how big it is. I didn't know it was this big. I printed the fabric, or I printed the fabric. I printed the pattern, and I got it, and I went, why is it so many damn pages? Oh, that's how big it is. So, I worked on this thing for almost a year. And it was the reason that I started my Instagram, so that I'm sure people on my Facebook, family and friends, were tired of seeing my cross-stitch stuff. Because sometimes they just don't care. I had to find my community, and I had to find my niche for people who care. So I got tired of posting on there, so I made my account. And then just throughout that, stuff just started snowballing with, followers and people who were just finally saying what I did was cool. I don't want to get too much into it. We'll do it for another day. I've been made fun of for cross-stitching. Being a male, I've been called just names that aren't nice and names that shouldn't be said. Even if I am what they're calling me, I shouldn't. It's just not right. So I'm sure you saw it on the thumbnail. This thing's a beast. Look at it. Hold on, we gotta move stuff around here. So there's my, you can see my uranium. Try to, all these glares. That's a big beast, ain't it? So, let's see if I can zoom in here. All those little bitty X's. I was kinda smart with this. I did not stitch any of the black. I'm trying to get that light rain out of the way. I did not want to stitch any of the black on this. So, a lot of confetti stitches. And, once I started getting a little bit bigger on Instagram, I realized I got a request, not a request, but like a suggestion. Ooh, that would have been bad. Because I want to hold this up while I tell this story, because damn it, I'm proud of this damn thing. Because of the story coming to follow. I found a local stitch shop called Beautiful Sip and Stitchery. So I went out there. They had some sit-in stitching, so I sat and did that. And while they were talking there, they were I overheard a conversation about how you could enter cross stitches into county fairs and state fairs. I did not know this. I was almost done with this, and I thought, well, I'm going to turn this into the fair. So I did. It cost like maybe like $1 or $2. And there were different categories. There was the big textiles, and then there were the small ones. Of course, I had to do a big one because of the size of this thing. I went and got this professionally framed. This is UV protected glass. It's because I didn't want this thing to fade, because, you know, I'm really proud of this thing. I love dragons. And I love galaxies, and this thing is freaking cool, and I love this thing. I'm going to set this down so I can hopefully, like I said, show a picture. And it's just getting really heavy. Stand by. Oh. Please don't fall. I turned this thing into the fair, and the judges, it's judged by the people there, not by the public. So there's no voting on who likes it, and no, I mean, not even at all. It's just judged by the people that run it. So I go back a couple days later. Well, actually, my wife went out there, and she said, do you want to see what place you got? And I said, you know, okay, yeah, show me what I got. Because I was going to go out there and look myself. So she sends me a picture. Hopefully it's here. I got, wait a minute, hold on. Where's it at? I don't want these glares. Open show, Winnebago County. I got second place. The first loser, okay? And then I said, okay, well, what did I lose to? And she sent me the picture of what I lost to. Now, I have to be careful. I have a following now. If you stitched this and you follow me, I can appreciate a sampler. I appreciate every cross stitch that there is, even if it's not my style. That is fine. But by the sheer size of what mine is compared to what I lost to, it blows my mind. I was literally shocked that I'm like, second place to this? Oh, all right, well, whatever. It is what it is. In my mind, I got first. I'm not hurt. I love the thing still. I'm going to enter again this year. I don't even really know I'm going to put in this year. I am going to do a small, and I'm going to do a big. And to be honest with you, even if I don't get first, don't get second, if I get third, if I don't even place, what's cool to me is that everybody at this fair is getting to see cross stitches that they're not used to seeing. That has been like I said in the beginning, this is my goal. I want to show people that cross stitch is not what it used to be 20, 30 years ago. There are alternative patterns. There are just some badass patterns. There's dark patterns. It's not what it used to be. So I'm just trying to break everybody's mind about that. So yeah. We'll see what happens, and as long as you guys keep following me, you'll figure out what happened. So let's get to some questions. One moment, my tea's almost gone. Talking makes your mouth dry. So, I'm going to answer a couple questions that you guys asked, because I want to make this just like we're chilling with each other. Put a question in the comments. I'll write it down. If I get to it, I get to it. And I'll put you guys in the comments to tag you that I answered your question. So, Ellie Sirius X5892 asked me, what was my first concert? And I gotta mark these off. I vividly remember my very first concert that I went to. My buddy, he's not my buddy anymore. He asked me to go to see Britney Spears. And this was during the, what's that album called? The Baby One More Time. It was the Baby One More Time. I think that was when she first came out, and I went and saw her. I remember my dad drove me. This was before I could even drive. I was probably in my teens, younger teens, 10, 13, 14. I remember a little bit of it, but not too much. And then after that one, the most vivid one that I remember, excuse me, nose is itchy, is me and my wife went and saw Incubus. I think I wrote this down. So we got Britney, and we went and saw Incubus. This is when Incubus was my favorite band at the time. I didn't discover Colgate yet or anything metal. It was Incubus in Champaign, Illinois, and a band called The Music opened up for them, which if you get a chance, check them out. They're kind of like a jam band rock. I mean, they blew my mind. So they were so good that we went to the merch and we bought their CD because we really liked them. Quick little short story. On the way to that show, first we missed our exit to go south, and we ended up going east into Chicago. And once we got back on track, this was before like actual phones and GPS. We had to do MapQuest. And if you get lost on MapQuest, you're fucked. So we spent more time on the road than we wanted to, and our car ran out of gas on the way to the show. And hey, guess what? We don't have a phone. I remember my wife going, she was my girlfriend at the time, going, what do we do? I just got out of the car and started walking. I mean, what else am I going to do? I'm not missing this show. So we ended up getting picked up by these two dudes. They gave us gas, dropped us back off into the car. We got to the show on time, told the story to our parents, and they about killed us that we got into a car with strangers. And we're like, well, we're fine. What were we going to do? But having two children now, if that were to have happened to them, I would have lost my damn mind too. So I understand. Next. Courtney Blankenship asked if I play any instruments. If you count Guitar Hero and what was it, Rock Band. No, just kidding. I mean, I love what are those games called? I mean, not music games. They're like pattern music games, like DDR. I will destroy some DDR. I still, to this day, if I see a DDR machine, I gotta let everybody know that I'm really good at it. I gotta make sure these kids see that I'm really good at it. And my oldest daughter, Dad, that's not cool that you can do that. No, yes it is. Try it. It's fun. Anyway, I do. If you can see here, I have a guitar and a banjo. I love the banjo. The most I can do on that thing is play Deliverance. It was fun to pick at for a while. It was kind of like a hyperfixation. I got really into banjo music and bluegrass. What else? Like Steve Martin. Steve Martin has a couple of really good albums. I mean, he's a banjo master, and I didn't know this. I know he was just a comedian. If you get a chance, check out Steve Martin's music. Him and I can't think of it right now. Paul Simon's wife. Her and Steve Martin did an album together. It's really, really good. Just chill music. But I haven't picked it up since. It's just because I'm so busy cross-stitching. My daughter sometimes always asks me to pick it up because I learned how to play You Are My Sunshine. Just little simple things like that. She also asked me, Courtney asked me, what's my favorite way to stitch? These, like hoops, that was my primary way of doing it, you know, dun, 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 dun. And then it just, my hands kept cramping and stuff. And then my projects got bigger and bigger and bigger. That I then discovered a Q-snap. And I have not gone back anything since. I get asked to make a setup video because I don't stitch here. I stitch over in my kitchen where my table is. I use Q-snaps, which I can show you on my tarot project. You're going to see that. I clamp it. It clamps to the table, and then it clamps to the project. So when I'm I came up with this idea because of how many threads I needed to change for the rainbow frames on there. Because I mean, I'm not kidding. 5 stitches, change color. 5 stitches, change color. So it pivots, and it pivots. So it kept, you know, I'd lean it towards me, and I would change the fabric or change the thread, put it back, stitch, flip it toward me. That is how I stitch. I'm a two-handed stitcher, so I needed something that would hold the frame for me. So I mean, can you see? I literally stitch like this. There's a couple videos on my Instagram, Cross Stitching Cambria, where I do some hyperlapses of me stitching, just normally how I stitch. I had to come up with that way because of how big my projects are and how I just want to keep these things moving. So there's those for you. Now my next question is going to be segueing back into a finished project, because it has to do with this little fella. Bluebird Paper and Thread asked me what the story is on the raccoon, and I'll get to him in just a moment. I'll bring him up here. Actually, let's bring him up. Hold on. All right. This is Junior Mint. He is my stuffed raccoon, and he's eating a box of Cracker Jacks. Say hey. Hey, buddy. So, I'm going to go put him back. But this is Junior Mint. I'm going to tell a story about him. Alright. So, we got him in... My wife corrected me, and I will admit when I'm wrong. I did not get him in Cleveland. This is my wife fact-checked me, and I will admit that I was wrong. We got him in Georgia. Why did we go to Georgia? We went to Georgia because for Christmas, you know, sometimes with the family, the two kids, my mom, my brother, we want to make memories instead of, you know, gifting each other things. So they asked me, they were like, Josh, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And I said, let's go to Georgia. Why Georgia? The U.S.'s largest aquarium is there, and they have a whale shark. Duh, why would I? You gotta go see a whale shark. You guys, I hope I can get some pictures up here of that whale shark. Blew my mind. The only thing that kind of sucked about it is that there's two of them. They stayed up at the top. They didn't really come down very much, so I didn't get to see too much of it. But that if you live in Georgia, around Georgia, you've never been to the Georgia Aquarium, highly recommend it. I could have spent hours, just hours inside that room. It was gorgeous. But I wanted a project because Georgia's a pretty long drive. I wanted something to do in the car. So I found a whale shark pattern that I did to kind of commemorate the trip. This was a pretty fun pattern. If you haven't noticed, I have a trend of black. I do a lot of black Ada. And where is this at? This pattern is by Happy Little Mouse. You can find them on Etsy. It has a lot of cool other stuff that's similar to this. I ended up getting this thing done. I have progress photos on my Instagram, like way at the bottom of when I started my account. I got this done in like 5 days. Just stitching away. So that's that. I'm going to get into my one last finish, and then we're going to get into my WIPS. This one was prior to the whale shark one. I got a little sidetracked. This one is from Oh My Stitch Shop as well, which also did the dinos. So this was my introduction to kind of black. I didn't really do anything prior to this, I don't believe. And then just black has stuck with me. I enjoy stitching on black. It's very rare anymore that I will do a white. So that's like that. We're 35 minutes. I want to quickly get to these WIPs, because you guys were asking for WIPs. I want to show the one thing that I've been famous for and been known to do. And I want to talk into, I wanted to record this now because next week on Thursday, I'm going to that Detroit Witchy Stitcher retreat, which I'm super excited for. I get to meet people who are fellow stitchers. Witchy is my absolute favorite pattern maker. I stitch a lot of her stuff, as you'll see. So, oh, I got a couple WIPs. Man, I want to keep my videos under an hour. We'll get to it. I don't want to drop. All right. So, here's my. I'm not taking it out of the frame. This is my massive project. I am completely caught up as of right now, May 30th. She did just tease the new frame, or the new card, which is, I'm guessing it's going to be the devil, which I think it goes over there. When I get caught up, we'll see on the videos and what I do. I'll take this whole thing out. These are all, this is stitched on a 44 by 44 piece of black Zweigart Ada. Did I say 16 count? 16 count. This thing is a beast. This thing has kept me busy. I usually work on this big project, and then I work on a small project just to kind of break things up. All the white, every white that you see on this thing, I mean, even this little guy, that is all glow-in-the-dark sulky. Everything on here glows. I'm really proud that I started with it, and I'm going to commit to finishing it with it. It's absolute hell to work with. It's so finicky. I have to use three strands of the sulky to make the thickness of a DMC. And it's a mess back here, but nobody sees it. So that's my WIP. I'm hoping that she releases the card before I go to Detroit so I can work on it there, which it's going to be really funny. I asked. I said, can I bring this to the retreat? Because I'm going to take up half the table. And so hopefully I can get working on it before people start showing up so I can keep it there. So we're going to put this back. Alright. So, tarot card. Vessel. I wanted to do my very first full coverage piece, and I don't want to get too much into the debacle I had with the color of fabric that I had. I found I wanted a black, like a black hand-dyed fabric. So I found something online. I'll do this real quick. What she sent me was not black, and then we started arguing back and forth. She's saying, no, this is the lighting. That's a black. I specifically remember that. And I go, I'm a photographer. I think I know about lighting. So I sent a picture of it in the house lighting and outside lighting. The thing was blue. Everybody I talked about this to, showed them pictures. It was blue. So then she started giving me a thing about how hard it is to dye a black fabric, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, the wonderful, absolutely wonderful Witch Garden Crafts has been my go-to for dyed fabrics quite often. I told her, one second. I told her the whole story, and I said, can you make me black fabric? And I had a Sleep Token black and gray dyed shirt, and I said, can you make it look like this? And she delivered. Absolutely delivered. This is my very first full coverage. I put a picture of Vessel from the Rolling Stone cover. I think it was Rolling Stone. And I turned it into a pattern. And it gave me how big it was. Black alone, I have 44,310 stitches. So I did not want to stitch that on black. So I got this. That's why I got the dyed one. This one I work in sections. Oh god, no, that's the pattern. Let me move the. I mean, you don't get to see much. It kind of sucks. I mean, he's all bunched up right here. I mean, those are his teeth kind of smashed in. It's folded in on itself. What's the top? What's the... I moved it to where I'm going to be working all right here. And those are the little eyes of it. I don't want to open this up because, I mean, as you can see, it's bunched up in there. You can check it out on my Instagram. It's pinned right up to the top. Check that out. But I'm going to work on this too. I got 7 pages left. So I thought I was going to be able to finish that at the retreat, but there's no way. I've been working on some other stuff. Let me put this back real quick, and we'll get right back with you. Okay, we're back. I put that away. I didn't want it cluttered up here. So since I'm going to this Detroit retreat, I needed something to finish because this is my first retreat ever. I've never been to one. I guess you get to ring a bell when you finish a project. So I was like, well, I need something to finish. This was my perfect opportunity to try linen. I've never tried linen. I'm always scared of it. I've been scared of it because it just looks complicated. So I started this a week ago? A week and a half ago? Let me fix my needle minder because I'm proud of my needle minder too. I started this on linen. It's 28 count. I wanted something to finish there. So I'm really enjoying the linen, which I think I'm going to keep doing linen. After this one, I think my next project is going to be, what was I going to do? Oh, who did it? The Stitch Crypt. The Stitch Crypt just came out with a Black Phillip, Live Deliciously, which I love that, the witch movie. Just that whole phrase, what's thou like to live deliciously. Amazing. So anything that gets that put onto it, I'm getting it. Witchy Stitcher has one too. I'm going to stitch that one. Yeah, that's going to be on linen. And I'm going to do, I wanted to do it last year, her Krampus. I just didn't get to it in time because I really don't want to cross stitch a holiday during the summer. So I'm going to pick that up and I'm going to do that one on linen too. That's my new needle minder. That's my babe. That is from After Hours Fun. It was a pin that he only made 50 of these, and I turned it into a needle minder. I love the Munsters, so when he released a Lily Munster pin, I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be my new needle minder. I love linen. I'll probably keep going. This will be finished at the retreat. Which, speaking of the retreat, I'm not staying in Detroit. I have a passport, and I'm going to use that to its full potential. I'm staying in Canada, which I've never been into Canada. I've never gone through customs or however checkpoints. So we will see how that goes. Real quick, you guys want an animal control story? I'll give you 2. There was one time I got a call for a raccoon in a dumpster. It happens all the time, but sometimes they can't get out. So I go out there. There's this homeless man staring at this raccoon in the dumpster. And I said, what are you doing? Oh, man, there's that raccoon in there. I said, yeah, I'm going to get him out. I had a snare pole. If you guys don't know what a snare pole is, I'm sure you do. It's just a long, like, 5-foot pole. It's got, like, a wire inside of it with, like a hook, a hoop. And you can tighten it, and it tightens around the neck. That's how we would always get raccoons out. But raccoons, they've got that thumb. It's the craziest thing in the world. They can literally grab onto those snare poles and just move it around. So whenever you do a raccoon, you had to get them under the armpit and under the head. That was the best way to catch them. So I have to go. I'm putting the snare pole into this dumpster, and I get the raccoon, and this guy's just continuing to talk to me about this raccoon, and he goes, "Man, can I have that raccoon?" And I said, listen, pal, because at this point he's annoying me. I said, listen, I'm going to get this raccoon out of this dumpster, and then if you can catch him, I will let you have him. If you've ever seen a raccoon, they're not like possums. Possums are pretty docile things. They'll hiss at you and go, raccoons are mean as shit. I get it out of the dumpster, I open up the snare pole, and that raccoon just bolted into the woods that were just nearby. And he looks at me like he's mad at me that I let it go, and I said, man, you want that raccoon, you better go get him, or you're never going to see him again. So that was one story. The other one's another raccoon story. And then I got a couple mentions for people who mentioned me, because that's really cool. I want to get this under an hour. We drove in these vans, and we had these wire cages, and that's how we caught wildlife. When I'm driving, there's a computer stand, kind of like what cops have. It's called an MDT. This is where we do all of our paperwork and all this stuff. Directly behind us, there's no fence, no nothing, but this is where we keep trapped animals, because back then, which they don't do anymore, you'd pay a fee, you caught a raccoon, you caught a possum, you caught some kind of wildlife, we would take it back to the shelter, dispose of it. They're nuisances. I didn't agree, but this is a job. This is what I do. I was a certified euthanasia technician for 6 years. It's rough. So I had a raccoon back there, and I'm driving down this road where there was construction, so it was only one lane here, back and forth. There's nowhere for me to turn. There's nowhere for me to do it. I have to keep going straight. This raccoon is slowly weaseling his way out of the cage. And now I'm in a mild panic because I'm driving. I can't stop. There's cars behind me. There's cars in front of me. I have to keep moving. And I'm watching. My window's down. And that's part of the story that's important. And I'm driving. And I keep turning. Just to keep an eye on him, because raccoons, they will just destroy. They will shred you. He gets it. Now he's got his head out. And I'm going, well, shit. He gets all of his body out. And it was in like 1 or 2 seconds. He jumps up onto my computer MDT stand, and so he's right here next to me, wild animal. And then the moving vehicle jumps from this MDT stand across me out the window, and then I look in the mirror and I see him going bloop, 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 bloop. And I thought, hey man, this is your lucky day, because you get to be free again, because I am not going back. You earned that. I'll never forget that story. I got many more stories. So, we're nearing the end here. I think my phone can only handle an hour, because I got too much shit on my phone. Thank you, everybody. I want to give a list of people who gave me shout-outs. So, if you give me a shout-out in your video and you tag me on the description, otherwise I'm not going to see it, I'll check out your video. I'll watch it. I'll watch the whole thing. And that's what I did with these. So if I pronounce them wrong, I apologize. They're pretty straightforward. I'll add them in the comments too, so you guys are tagged. So we got Rogue Mama Stitcher, Stitching with the Griffin, Steph X Stitch, Moonshine Stitchery, Harpy Stitch, Cross Stitch with Bex. My B's and R's, I apologize. Rex makes more sense. Autumn Fox and Rabbit Crafts, and Dramatic Stitch. Thank you guys very much for tagging me. I got a lot of positive feedback. You guys were watching my videos. Last I checked, my first video was almost at 10,000 views. And it's just me talking. So I appreciate that. I'm trying to give back to you guys for just even watching my stuff. I'm just here doing what I love, and other people are loving it, and I'm inspiring people. And yeah. Oh, one more thing. I know Rogue Mama, she's mentioned it a couple times. If you're doing the Witchy Stitcher tarot cards, tag me. Tag me on Instagram. Tag me on your Flosstube. I love seeing other people do that stuff or do that project. It's just interesting to me to see how people do theirs as opposed to how I did mine. Me, I did the frames. I did all the frames, and I worked my way down. And at the time, I think only 4 cards were released. So when I got to a card, I stopped and I do that card and I keep going. But yeah, we're at the end here. we're at 50 minutes, so you guys got a little bit longer this time than last time. I still don't have a sign off. Someone recommended "Bye Bye Beautiful" from Favorite House Atlantic, from another Coheed song. Still racking my brain on something to say. But until then, this was more of a... I'm trying to catch up to all my projects so that I can start talking more about daily things, WIPS. I got a lot to catch up on because I joined Flosstube a little late from when I first started my stuff. Thank you, everybody. I deeply appreciate all of you. I appreciate all your follows, your comments, your shares, especially your shares, because that's how this community continues to build. Share. Promote other people, help people. You know, this is what they love doing. I'm getting choked up. This is what they love doing, and when other people love that too, that is what keeps me going. To have people just say, what you're doing is cool, I'm going to pick that up too. My brother just started, hi Caleb, he just started cross-stitching because of everything that's been going on with me. So, he started his first project, but he started it on Black Ada. That's kind of rough to start with. So maybe I'll have him on here as a guest. We'll see. If any of you see me at the cross stitch retreat, please say hi to me. I have business cards now. If anyone, just say hi to me. I'm nice. I know I have a lot of tattoos. I look scary. I have holes. Really nice guy. I'll talk your ear off, as we can see. Everyone, take care. Keep listening to cool music. The President. Listen to the new President song. That is really good. I put it in my reel. In the Name of the Father. Awesome band. Okay, I'll stop talking. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you. We'll see you soon.